Hi, I'm Betsy. Welcome to your 30-minute all levels yoga class. Thank you for carving out the space and time to practice today. I'm coming to you from my living room today as a reminder that we really can create the yoga space, the time for movement and wellness, anywhere that we can fit it in. Any time, any place. It doesn't need to be the perfect situation. For me, it's just important that it gets done. So again, thank you for being here. Yoga mat, comfortable clothes, and take a good seat. In your seat, turn your palms down along your thighs and sit up really tall in the spine. Close your eyes. Take a few breaths. We're, of course, always breathing, but now we turn an awareness and an attention to the breath so that it more deeply supports this time, this practice. Nod your chin down to the chest and move your right ear towards your right shoulder. From there, take the left hand out to the side. Enhance the stretch a little bit more by taking the right hand on top of the left ear, top of the side of the face. And again, just a little more enhancement of the stretch. Bring the hands back to the thighs, chin to the chest, and second side, left ear over towards the left shoulder. The shoulders tend to creep up a little bit. Make sure you relax them down, give them some space. And then take the hand out to the side. Bring the left hand on top of the right ear. And I'm not putting pressure down here. I'm trying to, again, extend the length. Nice and easy. And then walk the hands back and chin down to the chest. Okay, lift the chin, open the eyes if they were closed. Let's get the whole body into the equation now. Come over to all fours. Place your hands shoulder distance apart, right under the shoulders. Knees hip distance apart, right under the hips. And then cat and cow. Cat and cow is just this movement of the spine back and forth. Start to open. Notice what feels a little stiff and tight. Also noticing the pieces that already get a little more ease in the movement. Inhale, pull the chest forward, eyes and tailbone high. And then on the exhale, press down through the hands and knees, round your back and drop the head. Just like anywhere we can find space and time to roll down the yoga mat, we are doing it right any way that we decide to move. We literally cannot do this wrong. Just all fours, move the spine back and forth. Okay, downward facing dog. Tuck the toes and lift your hips up and back. Down dog is this inverted V shape in the body. Pedal the feet. Take the dog for a walk. Right now I can hear my dog walking upstairs. I assume he might decide to come join us at some point during this practice. You can do the practice with animals and other people around. Okay, press both heels evenly towards the ground and just get a good stretch in here. Lower your knees all the way to the ground. Have the knees about as wide as the mat, but your big toes together. And then child's pose. Press your hips back to your heels and reach your arms out long in front of you. Come up to fingertips. I say spider fingers usually here. So you're just on the fingertips and lift your head enough that you're looking through the hands and keep trying to crawl, itsy bitsy spider, your fingers out in front of you, even as you let the chest go a little bit lower and the hips a little heavier towards your heels. Reach, reach, reach. You can relax the head so you're looking more down rather than forward and walk both hands over towards the right side. But keep reaching the left hand out in front of you and try to pull back on the left hip a little heavier towards your heel. So it's this tug of war. The hand is reaching further, but the hip is reaching back. That's such a good side body stretch. Let's go to the center and walk it on over to the other side. So now the right hand, I want to go a little longer than the left. And the whole time I'm trying to drag back on the right hip. Not an exact science at all. It's just how to play and work so that it feels good for us. Okay, come back to the center and come up to all fours. Palms flat, knees together this time. Okay, so here's the thing. Some of us don't like to have our hands flat. It hurts the wrist. You can do a couple of different things. Maybe you make fist, and that feels okay. You can be up on the fingertips, creating strength through the wrist so that then after a few weeks, maybe it does feel okay to put the palms flat down. And the other thing is then how are you placing your hand on the ground? You do want most of the weight to be on the thumb and the first finger, the inside edge of the hand. So maybe it's not that you need to change the hands, it's that we change where the pressure is in the hands. Okay, so once we figured all that out, lift the right leg up and back, about in line with the spine, flex the foot and turn the toes so they point down to the floor. Keep pressing through the hands, down through the bottom knee, so that you feel as though you're almost rounding in the back. And then let's try balancing, opposite arm out in front. So right leg, left arm, extend, 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 and hold. Nice sense of creating stability in the core. Lower the hand and lower the knee. Lift the left leg up and back, flex the foot, point the toes down to the floor. Get that nice and stable, and then add the extra point. Right hand out in front. If you're like, oh my goodness, I'm so wobbly, unstable, maybe you try pointing the fingertips out in front or keeping the hand flat. We just go to the point that makes the approximation of the pose work the best for us. Okay, left knee down. I want you to go back to downward facing dog, lift and stretch. And now lift the right leg, again, up into the air. And maybe is hip height, or maybe it's even higher this time. Lift, 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 stretch. Now pull the knee in towards the chest, and come you hover forward like you're in plank pose, top of your push-up. Still keeping that right knee lifted. It's hard, it's supposed to be hard. Stay there, stay there, stay there, and step the right foot back. Down dog, lift the hips again. So we have a little bit of a core focus coming into our practice today. Lift the left leg high. And this is like the freedom lift here. Open, 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 reach, reach, reach. And then strengthen. Pull the knee into the chest. Move the shoulders over the wrist. Stay, balance, do your best. Be with it. Maybe top of the foot is on the floor, but knees into the chest. And step the left foot back. Lower the knees down. Sit back on your heels. Interlace the fingers. Flip the palms. And then reach the hands up to the sky. As you lift and reach through the chest, can you also still stay strong in the abdomen? Rather than letting the abdomen push forward here, try to knit from the top of the ribs more down. And so you stay really contained, strong, and working on the opening in the shoulders. I do a lot of these exercises each and every week. So we have plenty of time to work to get familiar. Twist to your right. And to see yourself progress. Twist to the left. And then come back to the center. One more time here in all fours. Plank pose, top of the push-up. You have the options with your hands. And we can be on the toes or the knees. I want you to do which one works while keeping the arms straight, the glutes tight, belly button up towards the spine. You're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you're down. Lie flat down on the belly. Reach your hands behind you, turn the palms up to the sky. Most important part of the core, perhaps, is strengthening the back side of the body. Lift, lift, lift. Everything that you can, just lift it up towards the sky. And exhale, lower it down, press back to child's pose. And then roll to sit back on your heels, so bring the torso upright. Okay, we've already done this, interlace the hands, but this time it's the second favorite finger that's on top. You'll know if you flip the palms and take the arms up, if it feels awkward, then you're on the right side now, this time. Press through again, thumb and first finger. Let the chest be open, but still knit the ribs down. Pull belly button towards the spine, sit heavy on the heels. And release. Little twist again. We'll start to the left. And we'll start to the right. Okay, come back to the middle, and let's stand up. Get in a few standing poses. Last week we did a lot of standing work. There's less this week. That's the way it goes, so that we continue to find differences and balance within the whole of the practice. So I'm going to face the long side of the yoga mat and then take a wide stance. Point the toes straight ahead and the heels straight back. With the feet this parallel to one another, I always feel as though I'm a slight bit pigeon-toed. We're used to standing with our feet usually a little bit out for most folks. And so asking for that full rotation of parallel feet already is getting a lot of work in our outer hip for stability and a little stretch through the inner thigh. Extend the arms out. Reach, reach, reach. Okay. Turn the right toes out. Keep the arms straight, the legs straight. Reach as far as you can to the right side. And then place the right hand down on your shin and the left arm up to the sky. If you happen to have a lot of range of motion, you might be bringing fingertips down to the floor here on the inside of the leg. For most of us, it feels best holding on to the shin. Try to keep the shoulders open so we're not leaning forward here. We're trying to be straight up and down. And then press through your feet, come all the way back upright. Thinking about the core strength as the focus today. Notice how much work that you have to do. Knitting the ribs in, belly button back towards the spine, just to stay in this sort of up and down plane. Can you take the left hand to the shin and the right arm up to the sky? So if I drop out of my core, I might fall a little bit forward. It's not necessarily wrong, but for the work today, we're trying to be as up and down as possible. Right hand straight up to the sky. Really strong, squeezing the glutes, press down and out through your feet, toning the belly, and stand up. Okay, let's turn our feet parallel to one another again. This time hands go to the hips. And I'm gonna turn the toes out slightly and bend the knees just a little bit so that I can get my hands down to the floor. I want you to walk your hands out until they're under the line of the shoulders. And remember, we can go flat palms. We can be on the fingertips to get a little more height here to make the pose easier. Do what works. The more you bend the knees, the closer you get to the ground. The more you straighten the legs, the more you're gonna have to do to make sure the fingertips can still touch, right? So you play within all of those elements. Take the right hand out to the side. Even in doing that, you have to drop into more strength in the core. Stay with it, and then from the torso, work on the twist. Twist, 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 until the right arm goes more up towards the sky. Again, you're still loading the weight in your legs for the most part, so a little bend in the knees is fine. Lower the right hand down. Take the left hand out to the side. And then twist, 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 twist until the left arm goes up to the sky. Keep the breath moving and lower the left hand all the way down. Okay, we go back, hands to the waist, hands to the thighs so that you have some support to come all the way back. And then step the feet together and give it a little bit of a shake. Great, come up to the top end of your yoga mat now and stand with your feet about hip distance apart. Take your arms down by your side, mountain pose. We looked at this a lot last week. If you did that practice, just standing tall, how much engagement is necessary, or how much can we be aware of the engagement to strengthen the pose? And then reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. That can happen with a bend in the knees. Keep the right foot forward, step the left foot back into a lunge. Make the back leg straight, so don't let it bend and fold forward and down like this. We want to wrench up and a little bit back. And then with that, bring the hands to the hips, bring the torso upright, and stretch the arms to the sky. Okay, this is the base here, and then we're gonna move with it. Twist to the right, so it's left arm forward, right arm back. Twist, and then come back upright, and do it 2 more times. Twist, and upright, and twist, and upright. Lower both hands to the inside of your foot. Spin the back heel flat against the mat. Push at least 50% of your weight into the back leg here. Try to keep that and walk your hands out. This gets us into the hips. So we find strength in the core and we need space and openness in the hips. That balances together for a really strong exterior. Strong and mobile. Bring the hands in around the front foot, pick up the back heel. Okay, one more thing on this side. Drop the back knee down to the ground. But it's not like a drop and nothing more. It's push the back knee down and drag it a little bit forward. And that gets you really strong and steady. And the front heel, push it down and like you're trying to drag it back. And that should make the legs so engaged, muscle to the bone, hands to the hips here, that you can stay engaged in the belly, bring it in, and then lift the chest. Then look a little bit up. Release the hands down. I always feel like I can conquer the world after that sort of pose. Lift the back knee up. And I want you to step the back foot all the way forward, arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Now keep the left foot forward and step the right foot back. Set your feet about hip distance apart. We're in that good, steady, low lunge. Bring the hands to the hips and torso all the way upright. I imagine that there's like a yoga block or something in between the legs that I have to keep squeezing in. And if I forget to squeeze in, it's gonna drop down to the ground, and I don't want that to happen. All right, arms up to the sky. And then we're doing the 3 twist. Look to your left, left hand behind you, right hand forward. And then back up. And do it 2 more times. There's a lot of balance, rotation, all the things coming together. 1 more time. Twist. And back. Lower the hands, inside of the foot. Spin the right heel down to the ground. And again, make sure the back leg has more weight than your front leg. That's what we're trying to do. So when we keep the weight up and back, maybe we get a little more space for this deep hip stretch. Walk their hands out in front of you. Just a couple of breaths here. Do it the best that we can. Walk it back in. I'd always be curious to know what other sorts of movement you're doing throughout your week in terms of a specific exercise program. Walk your hands up to the front thigh. Really squeeze in the legs. Press that front heel down, pull it back. Back knee down, pull it forward. And with the hands to the hips, lift the chest. Okay, release. Hands back down, pick up the back knee, and step back foot to the front. Stand all the way up, reach the arms to the sky. Exhale, release. That maybe seems random that I was like, oh, I'm always wondering what else you're doing. As I got into that hip stretch on the left side, I was like, oh, that's the work that I did yesterday. It needs a couple more breaths. This is the recovery that's so helpful because I was doing some weighted lower body work yesterday. So as much as you guys want to send me an email, I'm always happy to know, like, hey, who's taking class and what you're doing outside of the practice, what things feel good or what you need more of. BetsyPoostYoga@gmail.com. All right, send me a note. Take your legs wide. We're doing this 1 more time. And then we're getting down to the floor. Lower the hands right under the shoulders. Look forward. Take the hands then under the line of the feet and send your head down to the ground. Then bring the hands to the hips, press down and out through the feet, gain strength in the belly, and come all the way upright. Try this. Turn the toes out a little bit, bend the knees. You ready to jump? Jump it all the way in. Okay. Let's come all the way down to the mat. Sit on your bum, but have your feet out in front of you, about hip distance apart. We've still got a little bit more very core-centric work here. We're gonna have our hands just tap on the front of the knees. And as the hands tap on the front of the knees, pull your chest up a little bit higher. Okay, let's try to balance with the feet off of the ground. Is that working for you? Maybe the hands need to go underneath and give the hip flexor a little bit of a break there. Take the hands out. Does that work? If it doesn't, take the hands back. Try to keep what you had before and add on to the challenge. Y'all ready? Go over to the right hip and send your arms to the left. And then very slowly switch sides. And I'm trying to get all of the weight over onto my left hip with the right side completely off the ground here. We're going back over to the first side. You've got this. And go over to the second side. Bring it into the center, holding behind the knees or not. Do this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the feet flat down against the yoga mat. Take the soles of the feet together, knees out to the side, and just fold over. Nice and easy. Give yourself just a moment of relief. For me, September is always a really nice restart to routines that I had wanted to do throughout the year that maybe lapsed a little bit in the summertime due to different personal family schedules. And September's like, okay, it's time. Let's restart. It's a different kind of September, so I know that's harder, and I hope though that some sense of reboot this September is finding a way to connect on the yoga mat. So to me, rebooting systems is a big part of coming back to your core. So that's why we're doing core today. Here's my dog, Bodhi, joining us just in time for the end. Lie down onto your mat. Lie all the way down and try to make space to take your hands out to a T shape. If that doesn't work, I don't really have that space right now. I'm gonna bend at the elbows and make goalpost. And then take your feet 90-degree angle from hip to knee, knee to the ankle, up off of the mat. And just in doing this, you might realize, oh, that's that last little bit of core work before we come to our relaxation. And then you either do that and keep doing that, or let's add in little taps. Right toe down and up, left toes down and up, right and left. Do just 4 more of these, right and left. Trying to keep the angle, which is the whole leg is tapping down and up. And then it stays here. Move your knees to the right, but let them still hover above the mat. And then into the center, so like little windshield wipers, go over to the left. It's slow, hover. And through the center. One more time, side to side. Go to the right. And across the center. And to the left. To the center. Hug the knees fully into your chest. Pick your head up, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze in. Get as tight, constrained as possible. And then release everything all the way out. Right against your yoga mat. Release the arms, release the legs. Close the eyes. Give yourself just 60 seconds here. Full release, nothing else necessary. You have done the work. This release, this relax is to say thank you. Nice and slow now. Take your time to come back to a seated position. I'm going to sit cross-legged. Do that, or sit in any way that works. Keep the gaze low or your eyes closed. And really take a quick mental scan. How do you feel after the practice? Thankful for this time to set aside, to come back to the core, reboot routines this September. I bow to each of you in full gratitude. Namaste means thank you, means hello and goodbye. All right, have a wonderful week. Return to this practice anytime you get the opportunity.